Physical media is not dying. I always chuckle when I come across articles or videos and the writer or the person on the video is just crying, "Oh, physical media, it's going away. This is dying off, that's dying off." No, it's not happening. Physical media is, I would say, thriving. It's not dying, it's thriving. And there are a few things that I want to highlight to back that up. Now, I understand that this is anecdotal evidence, and so take it with a grain of salt. But I am encouraged by these things. Now, we have, on one hand, those who are crying that physical media is dying. They highlight, the Redbox bankruptcy. They have the clickbait articles about Sony discontinuing Blu-ray disc production, which, yeah, that was a clickbait article, because if you actually read the article, they're discontinuing writable Blu-ray discs. So discs that people would buy and then burn, stuff onto them, data, files, videos, whatever. Sony is not discontinuing Blu-ray pressings, which are the discs that we as collectors and 4K enthusiasts purchase. That is not what's happening. So, yes, Sony is still going to continue to produce Blu-rays. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, we have what I consider encouraging signs. Now, one that came out this week is that Twister was released on 4K. This is an almost 30-year-old film, and it got a full 4K restoration and remastering in Dolby Atmos. Now, that in and of itself is cool, but what was encouraging to me was seeing the response from the people who were excited about this release. And one way to gauge that level of enthusiasm is what kind of response do videos that talk about the release get? And there's a channel, Jeff Rossio, he does 4K reviews. His video on Twister got over 20,000 views. Mid-Level Media, over 20,000 views on his video. Shane Lee, his video got almost 20,000 views. This is an almost 30-year-old film that's now being released in 4K, and people are excited about it. So I guarantee that is translating into sales. They are seeing sales. And I made a video about it, and I got multiple comments on my video where people said, "I pre-ordered the Steelbook. It's out of stock." They are not giving any indication of when it's actually going to be available again, which means the demand for the Steelbook was higher than they were predicting, even higher than the pre-orders. And so now you can still get the non-Steelbook version. That one is in stock. I checked Amazon. It is available. But people are buying these things. And I guarantee if people want to hand over their money, companies are going to provide the product or service to take that money from them. And we as collectors, as enthusiasts, we are more than happy to hand it over. And that is what is happening. Now, another piece of anecdotal evidence is that there is a channel. It's called In Search of Physical Media, and every week he has a video series where he highlights new upcoming announcements and releases of 4K and Blu-ray movies. His video series on that, very successful. He gets a lot of attention from that series because people want to know what's coming out. And the second piece of that is he has so many titles that he has to talk about. Every week, there are so many videos coming out on 4K and Blu-ray that it is like a full-time job for him to keep up with all of the releases that are happening. So yes, people say, "Oh, streaming is taking over. Streaming is killing off physical media." Yes, the majority of video consumption is happening over streaming. But physical media is not going away because there are enough people out there who are interested in it, who want the physical media, and are willing to pay for it. And the companies are saying, okay, you guys want it? We're going to produce it. Now it's not all roses and gumballs and whatever. There are a few things that I've noticed that are a little troubling. Not troubling, but it's like, really? Here's a good example. Captain Phillips, the movie starring Tom Hanks. It is getting a 4K Steelbook release, but it's a limited release. They're going to sell out of their stock of 4K Steelbooks of Captain Phillips, and when they're gone, and they're not going to make any more. And there's not going to be a non-Steelbook version, which I think is unfortunate. If you're going to go to the trouble of remastering the video in 4K and in Dolby Atmos, why not just make it available on a regular version? I mean, I get that Steelbooks are typically a limited release. When they're gone. But there's always a non-Steelbook version to go along with it. They're not doing that with Captain Phillips. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they'll change their mind if they get a really good response and people indicate, hey, we really want this. Maybe they'll come out with a non-Steelbook version. I don't know. But it is a little concerning to me that if companies get the idea, this is a limited market, there are people who are willing to pay for it, but if we make it too available, then the price, goes down. So we will create artificial scarcity to boost the price up and so that we can get more out of it. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not seeing it at scale, like in large numbers. Like I say, Captain Phillips is an example. I'm trying to think of another example. There are others out there, but it does seem to be a limited thing. It's not happening widely, thankfully, for now. Hopefully that continues. Another example of new releases coming out. Jeff Rossio, he recently made a video where he was highlighting new 4Ks that he himself had picked up and that were being announced. And I mean, the video was long. I mean, it's a long video, and he just goes title after title after title. And it's like, wow, some of these movies are pretty obscure, movies I've never even heard of. But companies are like, hey, people want this stuff, we're going to produce it. And so they're doing it in 4K. And that's great. We want that to continue. And now it's getting to the point, we've had so many 4K releases and Blu-ray releases that now companies, it's kind of like they're having to, I hesitate to use this phrase because I don't really mean this, but it's kind of like they're having to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find new titles to release because they've done so many. And I don't want it to sound like they're dipping into low quality films and TV shows, but a couple examples, they're now coming out with the full series of Columbo on Blu-ray, the full series of Monk on Blu-ray. They recently came out with Friends, the entire series, not on Blu-ray, on 4K. They remastered the entire series of Friends on 4K. That had to have been a massive undertaking, and I guarantee they would not have done it if they didn't strongly suspect or have data to back up that it was going to make them money. So that's encouraging. And speaking of that, wouldn't it be nice to get a 4K version of Seinfeld? I think that would be so cool. Right now, we just have it on DVD. I don't think there's a Blu-ray version of it. But if we got, I'd be happy with Blu-ray, but I would be ecstatic if we got a full 4K restoration of Seinfeld. Anybody watching this that can make it happen? Make it happen. So yeah, there's just so many encouraging things out there that indicate to me that 4K is, it is a small market. It's not a mass market. They're not stocking rows and rows and rows of 4K discs at Walmart because that wouldn't make business sense. They understand this is a limited market, but there are people out there who want to buy it, and they're making the discs available for people who seek them out. And so, the random casual shopper going through Walmart, they're not going to be like, oh, hey, I haven't thought about that before, but maybe I'll get that. That rarely happens. But they understand that through online sales, people who want it will buy it, and they're making it available to us. So yes, it's moving in a positive direction. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited to see what comes out in the future. And so, yeah, keep collecting, and thanks for watching.